So, a brand new player to the game, the first thing you need to do is go out and get 300 copper and 1 heartwood. The heartwood drops off of any tree unless it's a special tree. If it's a special tree, you'll get something else that is green or whatever. You'll take that 300 heartwood and 300 copper and 1 heartwood, and you'll go to a tinker's workshop and craft a claim flag. You will then have to put that claim flag down. If you hit your map and click on show claimable land, anything red you cannot claim. If it's not red, you can. We are on a very populated place right here. And me and Zia and Shaft and Trainer and Butchie and Daedalus, and we're all just, Viles is out here. There's a PvP arena over here, apparently. So yeah, lots of stuff, but you'll want to place that flag down. Once you do that, you get building tools. These building tools we used to have to craft back in the day. Once you put your flag down, you get them automatically. They'll show up in your bag. What I did was click and drag those tools down to my bar, and I say, you go over the building tools.
Yeah, I'll go over the building tools. So with the tools that we have now, you'll see we have an add tool, a delete tool, a selection tool, a heal tool, smooth tool, paint tool, and the line tool. So with this, we'll just start with the first two basic ones. Add tool, pretty simple. You can add a block. It's a square cube in the game. Default size is the smallest setting on your wheel. And then you could spin your wheel up and it'll increase the size. By increasing the size, you're not actually increasing the initial default size volume. You're just adding more cubes of volume onto that first one. And if you could just show it with your tools. So, and those are all of your settings. Hopefully one day, you could see in your top left corner there's a material selector with a number underneath it. The top number is how much material you have. The bottom number is how many cubes it's going to take to fill that area that you see there, the yellow box. And that's how many of those individual cubes it's going to take.
All the way down to 1.
That'd be nice once they can show us the edges and see how big they are, but we can do that with the selection tool. So basically all this tool does is it brings in the data to the individual cube slots with material, and then the shape data if they're different than, well, the original default is the square, and then we have other shapes as well. We have a circle shape, which you just press C to go to. And again, that is same principle. As you spin it up, it increases its size. It has a default small size. When it's red, those won't come out as perfect circles. When it goes yellow, it's more guaranteed to be perfect.
Also tells you how many it would take for that.
And then if you go up to your material tab and select and drop that menu down, you'll see you have a shape selection tab. You go into there and you have additional 4 shapes. Now, the way the game is right now, there seems to be a bug, I would say, with these, is that if you place this shape, one of these other 4 shapes, at its default smallest size beside something, it will not retain its shape for the most part. Best way to use the smallest shape of those 4 is to place it up in the air, and then place it, and then copy it, and then use it. And that's, we'll go over the selection tool in a bit on how we're going to copy and use that.
Okay.
So that's the basics for the add tool. The delete tool, same thing, but most people right away will think that you're removing something from the game. In a way we are, but in a way we're not. One thing to remember with the delete tool, it's actually almost like the add tool, but it has only got air as a material. What it does when we actually go to delete the shape out of the playing field is that it only fills that shape up with air, the air material. The shape data is actually still hanging here in the air. And you got to be mindful of that because it could affect your building area if you have these shapes that are hanging around in the air that you can't see. But otherwise, the delete tool has all the same functionality. You can use it as a default cube, default circle. You also have the 4 additional shapes through your tab in the top left corner. One thing to remember, and it's something on their blueprint to fix, is that the delete tool will reset data on a corner. So the actual shape we see will be actually modified just a bit by that bug. So it actually won't even be this exact shape hanging in the air. It'll be a different one. And plus that works against other voxels too. So you add a shape up against something, you just delete that shape. It potentially, depending on direction, will affect the shape that it's sitting beside. So it's best not to use the delete tool to undo work. It's best to use your Control Z. And we have quick keys in the game for undoing and redoing work, and they're the same as your Microsoft Word or anything. Is your Control Z to undo, Control Y to redo.
Control X to cut. Control V to paste. Control C to copy. All the same things as Microsoft Word, Office.
Exactly. Those should be pretty, if you've been around a computer, then you know those off by heart.
Right.
Now we'll go into the selection tool. Now the selection tool, like the shape that we put up in the air, to copy paste it is just, we've already given all the commands pretty much, is you'll put your selection tool on it and then just go Control copy if you want to keep it there, or Control X to cut it out of there, and then you can go and repaste it to where you want with Control V. Now if with the selection tool too, because air is a material, if you made the selection tool bigger than the shape that's hanging here, and say we call that just, right now I'll say it's sloppy. Say you came over here and you had this bigger selection tool and you just quickly copied a 5 by 5 by 5 area instead of just this 1 by 1 by 1, you will actually copy all of those cubes around this one.